Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a little bit of an interesting weekend video going on over here because we have some brand new kind of scary news when it comes to the overall gaming industry as a whole, in terms of also really good, at least, console sales. We haven't seen even more big issues with drama and scalpers and botters and all of them. We also may be doing actually a YouTube stream later on today, so if any of you guys don't have the notifications on, put it on. We might have a little bit of drinks and chill, and I mean, I'm not usually too much of a YouTube streamer, but I'm going to try it on out, so if you guys are bored, as long as everything works, we might go do one later on today, so be on the lookout for that one, and a bunch of random little various news even from PlayStation themselves. So make sure you guys are subscribed and with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch down below if you guys want to follow. And of course, we have the Target links, Amazon links, and everything else in between, and let's dive into the video. So very first and foremost, hello, happy weekend. So if you guys have kind of missed it, we've been seeing a very large amount of just overall marketing pretty much everywhere on the entire planet. So very first, we also had we had things in Dubai lighting off fireworks. We had things literally flooding up to the sky, and we've seen a lot of really cool things floating around when it comes to the stuff. But right now, we even have another cool one where basically a mammoth PlayStation 5 marketing prompt for Horizon Forbidden West is now popping up in cafes in Paris. Now, I'm not sure how big this marketing budget must be when it comes to Sony, but good God, they are literally kind of terraforming Horizon literal cafes. Now, this looks cool. I would actually literally go to this. I saw some of the other cool things, like them having huge consoles, and that's neat. If I was casually walking down the street, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to go and find one. I mean, if it was close, maybe. But for this is cool. This is literally just you hanging out in some random local cafe, maybe having a drink, go to a Starbucks or whatever, and there's just little Horizon things. I mean, it's cool. I think it's actually generally pretty cool. So in case you guys have missed this one, Sony has gone pretty big, and they also might have a huge $6.5 million Super Bowl spot, as well as been kind of floating around a little bit rumor-wise. If you guys want more details on that, let me know. But basically over here, there's actually an open pop-up store over here when it comes to in Paris. So basically throughout the last few days, the 9th through 11th of February, they literally have a Horizon Forbidden West literal place. This is cool. They're trying to make food in the game, trying to go make the whole area and vibe really cool, unique area, atmosphere. I love this type of stuff. This is all around really cool. So I like the idea of them doing unique marketing and pushing for different things, and as well, it's kind of just a big celebration of the fact that the PlayStation 5 is mostly readily available, and a lot of folks out there are, able to go get their consoles. But it kind of goes into maybe some good and bad news, where we're seeing huge sales coming out with the PlayStation 5 sales going astronomical, as we've kind of covered up on the channel. But for some odd reason, game sales have fallen off a cliff. This is all in regards to now the UK monthly charts and more details, which we could also cover up through PlayStation. So apparently now with the new Pokemon game not coming out, because we had one a few months ago, kind of ruined January, as long as there's basically no other big games too. Although February so far has been a pretty big, pretty solid run, and especially with how good Hogwarts is doing, we'll have to see if this is going to be probably maybe a slightly better uptick. So as of right now, 2 million video games are sold across the UK during January, the latest GSD data shows. Tracking all physical games plus digital downloads from the most major publishers, see list below, sales are actually down this year, and I'd probably say a pretty big drop off of over 4%, so 4.4% year over year. The main reason for the drop is January 2022, we saw a huge launch of the Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I will still be honest, did not really fancy too much. I don't want to be the guy that gets canceled for it. Didn't really like it too much myself. And as well, we didn't really have any big major games coming out in January. So FIFA 21 was number 1 with sales significantly higher than what FIFA 22 managed in January last year as well. And then GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption, number 2 and 4, also posted higher sales in January, funny enough, compared to the previous year. Now, I'm going to go over this GTA news a little bit more as well, because it's crazy that that game is still one of the most sought-after games, even with all the GTA 6 leaks and everything else. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is number 3, surprisingly, and the game continues to perform a lot better than previous Call of Duty Vanguard, but sales have also slowed down faster than compared with titles such as Call of Duty Black Ops, Cold War, and the previous Modern Warfare title. So it kind of seems like it had a huge initial burst, and it's kind of been tapering off as time's been, ongoing. So the biggest charting new release is EA's Dead Space, which I actually have been hanging out and playing on my Twitch stream if you guys are bored and want to watch it late on night. If you guys ever actually also have game recommendations for me to go and do maybe for YouTube streams, let me know. Like I said, that's something I actually want to maybe try to work in at least maybe once or twice a week, or if anything, I can always encourage memberships to go push for it, either or. But we'll be doing one tonight, I think, as long as everything goes good, so be on the lookout for that. So yeah, apparently Dead Space Remake is arriving just 6 weeks after Callisto Protocol. I'm also going to give another hot take over here too. I've kind of actually liked Callisto better so far. I've only like maybe around 5 hours or so into Dead Space. I've done 2 streams of it. In all honesty, Callisto I kind of felt like had a slightly better story, and I kind of enjoyed the flow a little bit better. Dead Space does seem more like gruesome though at the end of the day, but I kind of felt like Callisto is actually a better, like smoother flow, at least in my opinion. So basically, the similar game was made by the same original Dead Space developers. Unfortunately though, they won't have a chance to go and collect their data so far as right now, but as well. But basically, there's a brand new IP with that one, really, really good. Also, some other games such as Forspoken at 16th, Fire Emblem at 12th, and going from there. But the big thing is we still even saw more huge PlayStation 5 sales. So as you guys have been seeing, these sales have been going all over the place, where 125,000 consoles were sold. So in the theory, the game is scary. Like, we're not seeing as many game sales. Game sales have been kind of slogging at the end of the day, but the consoles have still been doing good. It's kind of like a weird toss-over. But one of the more intriguing information is regards to them being on the bundles. So basically for this one, the PS5 was the leader so far, with sales up a whopping almost 100%, almost double, over January of last year, when there were significant shortages. It's the God of War Ragnarok editions doing the business for Sony, GFK boss Dorian Bloch tells us. It represented 55% of the PS5 volume in January alone. That is nuts. It just kind of goes to showing how well and how smart those bundles were when Sony decided to release them, and as well kind of how soft-lot they are. Because it does kind of seem like we don't see as many of the normal disc or digital consoles. It is mostly just on these bundles. Now, Sony's making more money, and most people don't mind God of War, so at the end of the day, it's probably not the world's worst bundle, but still, it's kind of crazy to go and see. So that officially also launched in November 22nd, 2020, while the digital Ragnarok edition arrived in January over for the UK side. So it's essentially takes over the Horizon Forbidden West official hardware bundles that ruled between May and September of last year, which also represented 43% of all PlayStation 5 hardware volume during those 5 months of that period. So Nintendo Switch was also number 2, and we keep on seeing the Xbox kind of having a little bit of a struggle too as well, mainly because I think a lot of folks who want to Switch got one. There's not really that big major games coming up besides maybe the brand new Legend of Zelda. And as well, Xbox has just been kind of mediocre. I don't know why they've been doing so poorly. Maybe we'll make a video on it and do a bit more research. So in January, 61% of Switch sales are for the OLED one, which is also surprising too as well. So let's go through all these like top things. Apparently FIFA's up there. Grand Theft Auto 5 somehow is number 2. God only knows how. I'm surprised in all honesty. Call of Duty number 3. Red Dead at 4. God of War 5. Dead Space 6. Elden Ring's still up there on 7, GTA 8, NBA 2K, and you guys can see all the other various games too as well. I'm sure Harry Potter's going to switch to number 1 in this next upcoming marketing list, and we'll see how the other things kind of taper around too as well. Now, as we've also got to cover here too, it's kind of been an intriguing conversation in regards to the Call of Duty. So we actually covered up a video before talking about how Xbox is really kind of still worried about their acquisition, and it also showed that PlayStation has a huge, massive amount of, well, kind of ride still on the Call of Duty game. While this brand new CMA data is kind of a little bit more on the scarier side. So we covered this before, but it kind of goes to show that Call of Duty, although it's slowing down, still is a massive, massive hit. So with this one, they still said that 88% of users buy PlayStation due to the availability of one or more games, and of that 88%, a whopping 73 said Call of Duty was that game. So it's still crazy that we've covered this news and saw it, because it is just, that's a really, really high ratio. Now, I kind of also think from all the gamers I've spoken to on my YouTube, on Twitch, or whatever, that number does kind of seem like high, or maybe they just wanted to have an easy answer. Mainly because, they just didn't really know what to do. It's kind of like if you he'd be like, hey, do you like chocolate? Like, do you like ice cream? Do you like chocolate? I'd be like, yeah, I like chocolate. You're like, okay, I'll mark you down. You know what I mean? But like in theory, maybe you really like some weird caramel. I don't know. It's how it is. But yeah, it's very intriguing to see this because this still has been a really big drama hedge point that's been making its way around the internet sleuths as well. And also on top of this too, we also did have even more issues with the Hogwarts stuff. We knew it came out really bad in the United States, almost instantaneously selling out, but it does seem like the UK also had that same big botting issue. Whether it's just they didn't make as much stock, maybe they didn't expect as many folks liking the Hogwarts Legacy, or maybe just there's a lot more botters still just trying to make a little bit of a profit because it was limited edition, but it does kind of seem like even the UK as well has also sold out. So a little bit on the sadder side too, because I knew America got rocked, but I didn't know the UK got so rocked too. They may still do more restocks in the near future, we'll have to see. Now last but not least, we also did have another confirmation that Grand Theft Auto somehow was the #1 game, and I'm still surprised. I really am. Where GTA and both EU and NA sides have all this. Dead Space actually came out here in America though, although it didn't really care too much in the European side, and Call of Duty was a solid 3 everywhere else, kind of similar numbers over for the EU side, and then NBA and then Dead Space Switch, FIFA a little bit lower, and Forspoken apparently did a little bit better in EU all around. Same with Need for Speed Unbound 2 as well, and we can see Forspoken over here. So it's always kind of intriguing to see that the numbers are similar in terms of what people are buying and getting, but at the same time, it's also intriguing to see. Also, Minecraft still is always one of the biggest games known to man, for God knows why. So give me your thoughts and comments down below if you guys will be on the lookout for a nice little stream later on tonight. It's going to be a little bit scary, so if you guys are going to be fun and hopefully don't mind a little bit of selling out and having fun and having some drinks. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We have the Weeble, we have the Target links, we have everything else down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.